Čaute. Hráme dneska hru do Stanley Parable. Job. Bude z toho aj video. Nezáznam streamu video. Takže jo. Spravím si intro a môžeme ísť na to. Čakajte. OK, čo sa tu sa vítam ďalšie videjka a dneska tu máme taký polozáznam zo streamu a hrajeme hru do Stanley Parable, takže bohužiaľ nemám to v češtine, takže mám to v angličtine. To je jedno, ale poďme na to. Poďme na to. Do Stanley Parable. Ja som túto hru už strašne dlho chcel hrať. Inak som na to nemal čas, takže ideme na to teraz. No, poďte, načítaj sa.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
OK, sme tu. Takže, jo, bohužiaľ to v angličtine.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed. Then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
OK. End is never end. Dobre. Takže...
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come.
Čo zase to
Eventually,
nejde?
someday,
Nevykričník to
they
má
would
byť.
arrive.
Ja zase to budem musieť asi
Very
pozrieť, prečo
soon
to
now,
nejde.
this will end. He will be spoken to.
Sekundu,
He will be
počkaj. Na to pozrieť, lebo zase štvať ma to bude. Počkaj, ja sa na to pozrieť, zase prečo nejde. Sekundu mi daj, lebo ty kokos. S týmto sa budem zase srať. Ja to spravím, počkaj, lebo však aj takto. Stále išlo to minulé, však teda, ty kokos, už ma to štve. Počkaj, sa prihlásim a idem na to. Ne, lebo proste, no to raz to išlo, raz to nešlo, proste štve ma to. Počkaj, mám to dobré. Takto. Dobre, to mám dobré heslo. Počkaj. Však ja to pozriem aj tak, lebo proste už ma to štve, potrebujem to. Teda ľudia, teraz som začal streamovať pred 10 minútkami. Budem až tak do 12, lebo potom musím ísť preč. Ježiš, 17 oznámiť. Dobre, počkať. Treba ísť na tohto cloudbota. Počkať. Takže. Je to strašne veľa nejakých nových vecí. Takže, dobre, takže toto mám dobre, toto je nastavené všetko na zapnutie. Teraz musím pozrieť na toto. Toto mám custom komandy, ktoré by mali fungovať. Ale ja chcem ísť na default komandy, dobre, sekundu mi daj. Kliček points, dobre to píšeš, ale je to na everyone, dobre. Dobre, prečo zase nejdeš, chlapec? No. Tak poďme na YouTube Studio. Tam proste raz to ide, raz to nájde to proste. Ježiš, počkať. No, dobre. No to pôjde hneď. Počkaj, musím to pozrieť, lebo zás ma to bude štvať. Dobre. Ja. Toto. Nemusíš písať, počkaj, to musím rýchlo ešte, lebo... Dobre, takže... Počkať. Toto mám a ja potrebujem... Toto chcem pozrieť. Áno, dobre. No. Dobre. Dobre, malo by to byť. Malo to fungovať. Lebo má to, jo. Má by byť. Dobre, uložiť. Dobre. Čakaj. Pôjdeš, Will? Poď. Prosím. A keď ne, tak pozriem, že čo, lebo tu zase strašne veľa debilných nových nastavení pribudlo. Aj. Dobre. Ach jaj. No, už sa to viem skontroloval, musím, poviem to. Tak toto dám preč. Toto by sa mohlo resetnúť. Ajaj. Streamlabs, no. To by mal byť defaultné a ten by tam mal byť dobre, takže aký máš problém? Ujo, poďme, nestream. Zas to... Toto dám preč. Toto uložím. Dobre, nastavenia boli uložené. Teraz prosím, funguje. Ujo, neser ma už. Neviem, s tým botom sú stále nejaké problémy. A ten myslím, že stále. To proste, ajaj. Prečo nejdeš? Ujo. Neser ma. Ajaj, ty kokos. Človek sa bude srať ešte s týmto botom. Dobre, toto som dal preč. Toto mi malo byť pre všetkých dobré. Ale keď poviem default komandy. Dobre. Je to divné. Nemôžem povedať, že ne. Tak počkaj, skúsim dať z mojich custom komandov, či to není len na ten. Dajme napríklad... Takto, áno. Skúsme, či custom komandy idú. Vyzerá, že ne. Chlapče, neštýma. Kokos, ale... No tak, však si moderátor, tak nechápem, aký máš problém. Kokos, ale... Dobre, mám stres náladu. Štvať sa s tým teraz budem, jak vždycky. Pribudla nová možnosť, že viem dať, že create bot account môžem spraviť. Ja to musím akože vytvoriť doslova, že či to robiť nebudem, to som nechcem. Dobre, toto mám, ja neviem proste, čo má ten bot. Ja neviem prečo, reálne proste on má proste povolenia, ale nechce fungovať, takže neviem. Je to dobre nič. Čo hrám? Stanley Parable. Ibaže zase tieto posrané komandy nejdu, čiže to snažím vyriešiť, lebo ty kokos. Už ma to sere. Ajaj. No. A takto sa s tým budem srať stále. Ale ten hajzel má povolenia na to, ale proste nerobí nič. A však mám Streamlabs jak moderátora. Ajaj. Ja skúsim, bude to možno zlé, alebo skúsim dať toto, ale ja to dám znovu. Toto je ich oficiálny account, áno? No, uložiť. teraz tam dačujem toto. Nie, to je jedno. Niečo napíš, prosím, bod, prosím. Prosím, dobre. Ja na to kašľam, Jaj. Kašľam na táto bota proste. Ja nechápem, ono proste. Ale on má všetko, čo potrebuje. Ale proste to prdele. Neviem. Počka, čo? Hej, počka, niečo som... je to teraz napísané, že je aktív, takže by mal fungovať, ale on nefunguje. No tak. Ja som to opravil, yes, ja som najlepší. Ja som najlepší na svete. Dobre, pokračujeme v hre. Yes, ja som to opravil, chlapci. Vidíte, ja som insane. Bro, dobre.
Told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer.
Už to ide. Jo, a resetol som myslím všetky pointy. Lebo už tak Zero mal nejakých 69 miliónov, takže to nebolo úplne OK, takže teraz má každý 0, myslím. Bohužiaľ, ale bolo to už proste moc insane. Dobre, ideme, hráme.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No. Viem, že to je secret achievement, alebo taká secret ending. No hej, ale tak vieš, koľko mal Zero, pretože keďže on bol moderátor, ktorým myslím, že teraz už som tam, myslím, udal každého preč, neviem prečo, ale proste on bol moderátor, čiže on si nagejoval 1 000 000 coinov. Ktoré to boli dvere, teraz neviem.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Jedny dvere, myslím, že to boli tiež také, že si na to klikli a tam vám dal nejaký proste to.
Stanley clicked on literally every single door in the office, because he doesn't pick up well on cues from his environment.
Ne. Neviem, že to neboli tých 417. Neviem, aké dvere to boli. No.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
A teraz. Čo spravím? Doprava či doľava? Mám ísť doprava či doľava? Nemôžem skakať, že nemám niekam inám vyskočiť von. Naľavo mám ísť. Dobre, kepel, veš. Nebudeme rebel, poďme ho počúvať. No. Meeting room.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
To je super ending, ktorý poznám.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Dobre, ale ja to chcem byť tiež, že máš smolu, jo. Narrator má smolu.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Ja tu počkám, pretože viem, že to je dobrý.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Proste why not, akože. Budem pokračovať, alebo to zostanem.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Ja tam zostanę. No, spoczekam.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
Škoda.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid.
Mám by som
He
teda potom
probably only
späť do
got the job
češtiny.
because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Dám to do češtiny.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now.
Nechcem to teraz robiť
You're
po češtine, potom to urobím.
You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard.
Škoda,
Well, in a
prehral.
situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming,
No, že je hrozné
so
to,
that
keď
the
sa má
irony
pravdu,
and
no.
insightful commentary of this
Hrozné.
game is not lost on
No,
them.
počkám, ho poviem, že to je dobrý
When
ending.
you've done that, just step out into the hallway. Ah, second play. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a
Som
monkey
vyšiel po
nearby
náhle,
you can hand the controls to.
Ja by si vypol,
A
tak, ale tak
fish,
o to nie je celá tá hra.
fungus. Look, you can hammer out the
Čo je
details. I'm not particularly picky.
Na to
I'll just be
čakám, na ten
waiting for when
ending,
you're
pretože
ready
to je
pick up
actually
the
ending.
story again.
On potom bude hrozne na strane, čo ho víš. To je dobré, on proste, to je ending reálne, že proste tu počkáš. A mám ísť ďalej? Akože, ja neviem, že ono to je dobrý ending, pretože akože... Ne, ostaň dobre, tak ja si počkám. Budem počúvať. Budem čítať chat, ja neviem proste. Môžeme keď tak potom dať inú hru, ale ja by som chcel hlavne toto, pretože... Čau, gamere, čau. A co, Magic Web? No, pracujem na tom, uvidíte. Bude to pecka, vám hovorím. Ja už trailer robím. A zatiaľ to vypadá extrémne cool. Ale... Takto, ja nechcem mať trailer, ako mal sypať proste len nejaké scénky random, hej. Ja actually to celé proste dávam aj akože... Ja to proste... Teším sa, ale stále nie som helper. Čak, teraz Discord neriešim práve, že teraz... Počkaj, ja môžem crouchovať, to som nevedel. Suicide Official Bossa, čauko, čauko. No. Takže tak sme na tom, ale sme na tom dobre teraz, hovorím. Takže, ale takže ja to dávam akože k muzike, celkovo to proste robím, aby to sedelo celé k muzike a proste to bude insane trailer, robíte proste. Aj módy stále optimalizujem nejako trošku. Čo je za games? To je Stanley Parable. Proste teraz máme ending, že som proste v broom closet proste. No, ale nejak ma ignoruje teraz chvíľku, ale ono to je reálne ending, by si mi to proste počkáte. Aspoň myslím. Ejo. Hej, neviem, mne som nechce čakať, ale proste nejak ma ignoruje, ujo. Ja si poviem ďalej. Ne, tu nie je nič, pozeraj. A actually, mne sa páči ten efekt, že proste počúvajte, že ja keď budem proste akože klikať, tak ono to je reálne akoby klávesnica. Počúvajte, a toto není moja klávesnica, actually v tej hre, efekt. To je dobré. Ne, to není nič, ne, toto není nič. Dobre, vieš čo, ja idem preč proste, nech proste má spokojnosť. No, teraz zase.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
Teraz
office.
hore je to, kam mám ísť. Ja môžem ísť dole. Čo je to za hra? Stanley Parable. Teraz ti povedal to dia. Ale pohode. Dole? Áno, však idem dole. No to je actually dobré, že idem dole. Idem po schody proste. Aha, to kartom, ak bezdomov vstupujem, ne? A ne, dobre, ja pokračujem, lebo to není aj tak nič.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the
Ah,
possibility
ja
of
som to
facing his
neurobil,
boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange, this can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that it had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. He thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control. That this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine.
Jo, to na ty pádové funguje tiež, čiže keby niekto chcel, môže vyskúšať, myslím, že som to setapoval. A čo je jeho práce? Čo sa stalo? Koho práca? Toho narratora alebo mňa?
Stanley began screaming.
Oh, počkaj.
Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
Nič, proste
And
ending.
everything went black.
Okay. Však tá hra je proste o tom, že máš mapu a môžeš chodiť buď o posluchách, alebo ne, a proste tam
This
sú
is the
rôzne
story
endingy,
of a
hej.
woman named Mariella.
Ok, takže iné story, ok.
Mariella woke up on a
Čo
day
jeho
like
práca?
any other.
Kliká
She
proste len na
rose, got
klavesi. Ten
dressed,
Stanley
gathered her
kliká a ten
belongings,
narrator
and walked to her place of work.
robí
But on this
proste
particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the
everything will be
He was
black.
obviously
Nie, I will
crazy.
be black.
This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look
Teraz
like.
potichu.
And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind.
To povedz aspoň.
I
Nie je to
know
moc
what is
potichu,
real
alebo ja som
and
potichu
what isn't.
nahlas. Povedz, čo
It
môžem
was
spraviť.
comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the
A
rest
píšem
of
to
her life.
everything.
She had no time for this,
Namiesto
so
toho
it was
thing,
only a
toho
moment that she
iného,
stood there, staring
i
down
toho
at the body.
iného.
And
To
then
si
she
ty?
turned
Asi
around.
ten chlap? Asi. Asi áno, neviem. Neviem, možno áno, možno ne. No a teraz ideme od znova. Takže prvý ending. Proste sme sa zbláznili a vypadli. Viem, že je to ešte jeden ending, ale akože
All
mám
of his
ísť rovno na
co-workers
ňo.
were gone. What could it mean?
Ty vole, ja
Stanley
si
decided to go to the meeting room.
Minecraft.
Perhaps he had simply missed
Je,
a memo.
aj, okej, čili, pohode. Ja viem, že to je ešte jeden ending, ale neviem, či ho chcem urobiť. Neviem, ktoré dvere to boli.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in
Jedny
any
tieto dvere,
way.
keď ste ako prestlačili, tak ja viem, že to...
Oh,
Neviem.
please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth?
Oh, áno,
no, no,
toto,
no,
40, 30.
I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants
Nie tam niekto
recognition.
niečo, čo sa dajú otevriť? Ne, ale toto je to. Práve teraz mi hovorí, že má
I
viackrát
have to say,
klikať.
I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it.
Ježiš,
Yes,
50
almost
krát mám
certainly
kliknúť. Aj, aj.
50 clicks.
Klikáme.
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
417, ok, 417. To je viem, že sú ďalej. A počkaj, to sa počkaj, to je na opačnú stranu. 417, hej. Tak ideme na to, klikáme,
Oh,
po 106.
great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
437, tí boli tam, to viem. Ale sa nedostane späť. To je malý problém, ne? Či sú tu ďalej tie dvere? Ale sa nedostane späť, tak počkať. Aha, tak... Jak často dostaneš pointy? Myslím, že každých 5 minút dostaneš... niečo, neviem. Aha, ja sa nedostane späť, že ten achievement nemôžem urobiť. Aha, tak dobre, tak ideme ďalej. A tentokrát to šlo ináč, myslím, že to šlo na opačnú stranu, ne? 5, každých 5 minút dostaneš 5 pointov, myslím, že 1 minúta
When
1 point.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Teraz môžeme ísť znovu tam a podľa jeho príbehu. Lebo vlastne, ale dobre, poďme spraviť všetko, čo je na ľavej strane. Dobre, poďme spraviť príbeh na ľavej strane. No a teraz ja som tuto.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go, oh no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
No, proč tak? Ne, dobre, ono toto práve ten ending není, on proste bude ticho do vtedy dochal neodíť, myslím. Dobre, dole sme boli, tam už ďalej není nič, tam
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Takže, teraz tu sa nedá ísť, viem, že sa tam potom bude dať ísť za nejaké okolnosti. Ani tu sa nedá ísť, ani tu by sa malo dať ísť, no. Ideme.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
No, vidíte, ja to nemôžem vedieť.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad,
Random
Stanley happened
buttons.
to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened
A nebo
passageway.
Božek staviť. No tak to ešte chýbalo, jasne. No a teraz môžeme ísť doprava, myslím, že nič není. Proste to má. Počkaj. Dá sa sem niekam ísť, bože, ja tu nič nevidím. Mám tu veľa svetla v izbe. Je tam niečo? Čakaj, na streame to bude vidieť, ne? Ne, není, to je tam úplne černo, čo nič. Dobre, ideme... Nevidím nič, hej, ani ja, takže tam nič nebude asi. Dobre, ideme, zase do ďalšej časti mapy, poďme. Loading. Dobre, ideme na to.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Infarkt. Ježiši. Není to horor hra, ale začínam tak feelovať.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door of the mind control facility.
Mind control. No a teraz. Escape. Áno, mám sluchatka. Escape. A teraz kam? Uteč. Okay. Utekám.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Zomriem. Ideme späť. Ideme. Ďalej pokračujeme.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had
Pravda.
every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Ale ja nechcem.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Bude opakovať. Ne. Geronimo! You can't jump. No, seriously, we disabled it. Ja som sa achievement, vy to asi nevidíte, no ale čo? Ja som aj dostal achievement, proste, že nemôžem skákať, že to proste dali preč.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, it reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss. by plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned
Jaj.
and willingly accepted this violent end
Ja
to
nemôžem
his
opäť,
brief and
ne.
shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Ne, 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 ne. Oh, okay, ja som skôr dostal nič fakt.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the
Žena.
narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal
Žena.
jaws.
My máme
In
tu
a single
ženu.
visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body,
Oh,
killing
každú
him
kosť.
instantly.
Aha. Nemôžem chodiť, ja som nezomrel. Ha, narrator mi klamal. Ja som nezomrel. The Stanley Parable, okej. Ja to zase nič nevidíme,
And yet
ani
it would
vy.
be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
Neviem,
What
no to je.
exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
To som už niekde videl. Múzeum.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless,
hej, no toto je.
making life the same. Do you see now?
Hneď.
Do you
Ten
see
múzeum
that
všetkých
Stanley
vecí.
was already dead from the
Stanley
moment he hit
computer.
start?
Bože, čo, my sme boli mŕtvi od začiatku? A to je office, a to je naša ona. Tam sú tie okná. Tu sú tie dve dvere, ale actually, what the... Oh my god, to je úplne všetko, pozrite. Oh my god, to úplne všetko. Tu sú dvere. Dvere číslo 1. Oh, yes, k tomuto sa dostaneme potom, ináč. To uvidíte, či to bude to. Tieto tlačky, to budem musieť nejak stlačať. Credits, oh my god. Čakaj, to sa dá ešte ďalej. Dúfam, že mi nekrešne hra teraz. Maintenance room, hej, sem sme sa ešte nedostali. Ja to hrať s bratom Minecraft, v pohode. Môj aspoň v backgrounde počúvať, ja neviem. Oh my god, keď proste... Počkaj, Warzone, počkaj, čo? Počkaj. Oni budú ešte pridávať, že Stanley skončí vo vojne? Že bude bojovať proti oným alienom? What? Oh, hej, okej, tak to som... Okej, tak nám sa teším, keby to actually pridali, to by bolo cool. Narrator emails. Okej. The lunch, long. To je všetko, väčšina z tých vecí je potom ešte na druhej strane, lebo väčšina toho príbehu je na druhej strane, a keď to teda tam ešte do tej mind control room, keby sme išli. The cargo lift, hej, všetko to je to na druhej strane, myslím, aj. Inde. Yes. Čakaj, one option. Two options, wait. Oh my god. Meeting room. Dobre, ja neviem, čo teraz mám robiť, ja to proste všetko prejdem asi a nekam, neviem. Asi restartnem hru. Jo, to je ďalšia časť. Neviem, či s tým nemám čo robiť teraz. Gaming kokos. Okej, tu je čo je. Tu je nejaká čierna roomka, ale tam sa nedostanem. Asi či dostanem? Ja ani neviem, kde už som. Jo, dobre, troška, tu sme na druhej strane teraz. Ja, no, nice. Line, escape, no. Čo je tu? Nič, tak ja neviem kam mám ísť, tak asi reštartujem hru, ne? Asi, lebo tu už nič není. Kolokos. Neviem, tu sa neviem asi kam dostať, takže asi reštartujeme hru. Tu je toto, tam sme odtiaľ sme prišli. A, ne, tu je exit, okej, tu je exit. Tak nič, tak asi ticho, že by som myslel exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Okay. Stanley Park. Oh. Okay.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time
Oh, wait. Nej. Actually, keď niekto dopozeral toto video až sem, tak akože Big W. No, čo sa stalo? Nič, proste to je černo teraz. Čo mám čakať, alebo? Ešte počujem sekundu, keď tak reštartujem potom hneď. Tak nič, tak asi budeme musieť dať reštart. Tak, idem na začiatku. Wow, toto je zase iné. Že čo? Ne, je to iné, že? What? A akože teraz iba odtiaľ idem, hej?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Viem, že teraz je tam dosť veci, ktoré sa potom pomenili.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of
For not getting
disbelief,
fired,
Stanley
talk
decided
less.
to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Nie, to nespravil. Ne, on to zavednil tie dvere, to je hajzo. Ja nebudem do tvojho broom klozetu, ne.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Kokos. No a teraz je dosť možné. Yes, teraz tu otvoriť tie dvere. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money. Ok, proste peniaze. A teraz vidíte, teraz zase tam zmenilo celé aj na začiatku proste. Hej, ja som tie dvere nezabral, nerob. A teraz, actually, môžeme ísť sem. Alebo máme tu možnosti ďalší iný ending. To je zhore. No, dobré, aspoň to, že to je muzika. Čo? Že Stanley? Počul dobre, počkaj. No, dobre, čo ďalej, halo. Začneme taká... Idem do rohu. Ja to dostanem proste takto v rohu. Uvidíme. To bolo trošku weird, ale dobre. Asi nemám inú možnosť. Pokiaľ sa tu niečo nezmenilo. Tak ideme tam teda. Ideme do toho mind control facility.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Okay. Celá pohode muzika. Mám relaxovať, ja nechcem. Ďalej.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Áno, idem tam hneď sekundu, len niečo som ešte pozeral. Už dávno vieme, kam máme ísť. Už nám môže byť asi sa musí rýchlo vyskočiť. Už máme skoro hodinu. No. 53 minút. To už bude práve. Som vtedy strstal infarkt skoro.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word ISK, but of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Okay, dobra. Sme tu.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers, the lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ja som ktorý teraz? Employee, ktoré číslo mám? Ja si už nepamätám. Toto není ako 230, 40, ne? Hej, ten hore, ne? 234. 234, to je on, ne? To som ja.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Takže teraz máme viacej možností, čo urobiť. Ale teraz momentálne by sme mali semka, viem. No, teraz to nezavrie. No. Awaiting input. Takže. A teraz.
At last he found the source of the room's power. He knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Teraz. Pozor. Môžeme to vypnúť a tým môžeme teoreticky asi ukončiť hru. Alebo to zapnúť a urobiť niečo tam s tým strojom priamo. Takže. Nepýtam sa.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? The hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you, running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
Nie. Tvoriť. Ja neviem, čo s nama robí, proste tlačka nefungovali. Ja viem, že tam je niečo potom s tými tlačkami, ale neviem čo. Dopršic. Ok, teraz ideme od začiatku, to vidím. Vyzerá to už dobre.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his... Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
What?
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
417. A co zavře, že? Nezavře. Dobre, super. Ideme robiť ten achievement.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
Ten bol zase tam úplne vpredu. Počkaj, ne, 437. Tu.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
415, ten bol tak ďalej, že 7, 6, 5.
Now, back to door number 437.
Idem, áno. Už to skoro je. 437, som ten byl toto.
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine?
Toto.
All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
Ježiš, to ma natahuje jak cesto.
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
Čo? 419? Toto.
Yes! This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416.
Áno, idem.
We've almost got it! Now the copy
Daddy.
machine, do that one again!
Daddy, yes. Oh my god.
Finish it off, Stanley! 5 clicks on door 430! Yes!
Yes, click
We
on the
did it!
405, that's
Oh,
not an achievement.
wow.
We
That
just
felt
nevidíte, ale
amazing.
mám to na hore.
Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes ago you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now? What were you thinking?
Dobre. No, a teraz poďme na ten secret achievement, ktorý viem, či sa dá. Tu sa dá nejak vylez hore, pokiaľ viem. Kam? Neviem si to dá nejako vyliesť. Prosím, môžem dovol mi vyliesť hore. Áno, yes, som tu.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Pomrzesz.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want. Like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to
Dobre. Povedal si o to.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
No. Už som skoro tam, poď, vrátme sme hore. Máme sem.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
No.
Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other options so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Aha. Potom nemám už nič ďalej. Dobre, e-mail som teda. Nič dobre, takže nič iné sa nestalo, ideme ďalej.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Za vypínanie týchto počítačov sa mi zdá. Neviem, čo ma random teraz napadlo, keďže niektoré sú zapnuté a niektoré nie. Počkaj, input received. OK, takže actually tu je niečo s tými počítačmi, OK. Lebo niečo to asi clearly dá s tým robiť, ibaže... Počkaj, tieto dvere to boli vždy.
Stanley clicked on literally every single door in the office because he doesn't pick up well on cues from his environment.
Tam je ten komputer, už sa nedostane. Neviem si dostať cestou. Probably ne. Neviem čo. Dobre. Ideme ďalej, uvidíme. No.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Jo, to je to chill room.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley, simplest but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years
That's
ago.
funny. Penalty for jumping over the cargo lift. $5000 musíte zaplatiť, keď chcem jumpnúť.
Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Sorry to break. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Ja viem, však ja som najviac power, ja som
How
ten alpha
wonderful.
sound.
Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along.
aha, ten
I
počítač.
got
What?
what I wanted.
Toto vyzerá ako iný, tam tie počítače sú vypnuté.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Alebo...
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. which choice would you
Dobra,
make?
som späť.
Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person
Počkaj, to video pokračuje?
is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness."
Čo? Čo? Practice, čo?
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process.
My goodness.
Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less?
Aspoň 8.
And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
To bolo trošku sus. Oh, plot, hej?
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Už som mal sa aj splitol, čiže to bude asi druhá časť už. Takže aj sem dali plot, hej, akože. Chlapci, ďakujem pekne, ste dobrí.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Takže... Čo teraz? Poďme doprava. Ja to kašľam, poďme doprava.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Okay.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to.
No.
I have to.
No. Okay. Nice. On my people. On my people. Ok, ja som si vypol sluchátka.
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Just behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Dobre. Bože, ja tak si nešlo.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer
Tu
there.
sámko zase to ja. Ne.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Takže, aha, takže aj nemôžem ísť kam inám. Perfekt. Wait, what?
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Something Jaký bol ten kód? Co hrajem? Stanley Parable. Jaký bol proste ten kód, dobre si pamätáš?
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115.
Night Shark 115.
Right there on the wall.
Night Shark 115. Night Shark 115.
I'm sorry, is there a problem?
Počkaj, akože ja potrebujem. Dobre.
You didn't mishear me, did you?
Night Shark 115.
Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Night Shark 115. Yes, odber. Nice.
Okay, fine. You're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your
Night
respect.
Shark 115.
The kind of respect Stanley
Bože.
shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward.
Nemôžem.
When
Oh.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice.
The
I
end!
need you to walk through the door.
Oh my god!
Are
Thanks
you
for playing
listening to
Stanley.
me?
Ja som actually to hral, tú hru. What
Is
the?
everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs
Okay,
you. Needs
to
you to
raz
make a
odboru.
decision. It can't exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay.
Môže to resetnúť a ísť od
It's
znova.
okay, I can wait. You need time
A
to
neviem, či bude
decide.
dobré.
Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right.
Galak.
I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Ó, to je sad. OK. Ideme teraz si odznova, že? Poďme odznova.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started. And if it did, it stopped shortly
Ne,
after.
zase iné.
Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Zase iný. Wait. Zase iný ending. Stále sme v tento loope. Stále to niečo iné. To nebolo na začiatku takto. Tak nebolo.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and
To je
Stanley
iné,
knew it
lebo zase
perfectly
to na začiatku mal
well.
iný dialog.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art, but eager to get back to business, Stanley
Ďalej.
took the first open door
Ďalej.
on his left.
Počkaj, ne. Môžeme teraz ešte skočiť tam dole. To bude dobré. Ideme ešte skočiť tam
Stanley
dole.
was so bad at following directions, it's
Tak sme
incredible he
zaboli.
wasn't
Ideme
5
teraz
years
skočiť.
ago.
Skočiť sme už dole skočili. Ideme skočiť sem.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the
Come on.
wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
Hold
I
on,
realize
I
that
hope
investing
I'm
your
going to-
trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero
Aw,
consideration for
I don't
others?
care.
Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
I
Why?
don't
I don't know
care.
how to convince you of this, but I
Well,
really
I mean,
do
I thought-
want to help you, to show you
Danger
something
everywhere.
beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
2 betre. Počkaj, 2 betre. Nejsou to, čo bolo na tých hodinách tam potom. 2B4, 2B5.
Now listen carefully. This is important.
No,
Stanley
ne.
walked through the red door.
How? Ďalší choice.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've
Prečo mi
chosen?
vôbec
Well,
dala
then
dve
let
cesty,
me
pokiaľ
stop
chcem,
you.
aby som išiel nekam. To je taká... Takže je mi jasné. Yes, yes.
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining
I know.
the entire story
I
I'd
know.
written out specifically
know.
for you?
Áno,
Do you
všetko
not
áno.
think I put a lot of time into that?
Všetko áno.
Because I did. And in the end, it was
Áno.
all for nothing,
Áno.
because this is what you
Áno.
wanted to see.
Áno.
Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of
Well,
yours.
one
What
to eight
would have
for you,
made
one
this
to
game
eight.
better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Ej, to nie jest fair, ja som tam... No dobra, nie.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Oh, well, now this is useful. You didn't like it, but you didn't totally hate it either. You enjoyed it, perhaps is the correct term. It didn't cause you excruciating pain. Big steps we've made here today, Stanley. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Word by leaderboard, oh my god, okay. Kde som? Jo, celkovo akože, hej, to je, actually to je live. To ma zaujíma, čo je actually live. A plne, only 23% approaches the blue door. Oh, ja som, how long je this door? Ako sa máš, ale dobre, Roman, dobre. Teraz sem. Tak to nie fair,
Now,
zase sem.
would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting.
Hej,
You wouldn't mind taking a
tak.
look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Jo, môžete čeknúť aj môj kanál, ináč mám tam celé
In
dobré
this game,
videjka.
the
Ne,
baby falls
toto
left
som delal
towards
shorty.
danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he
Sa volá tá
reaches
hra,
the fire,
Dostane
you
poredu.
fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of
Viem, že sa to
endlessly
actually dá
confronting
dohrať,
the
keď budete
demands of family
kliker a
life.
môžete hrať,
I
ale tá
think
4
the
hodiny.
outworld will really take notice. But of course, the
Nevadá,
message of the
stojí to...
game only becomes
Na
clear
Epiku to
once
je
you've been
12
playing it
euro
for
a na
about 4
Steame to
hours.
stojí asi
So why don't
15.
you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Ja budem si to dohrať, ale... Hrozný zvuk. Nechám ho zhorat, nechám. Nechám ho zhorat, dobré.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain.
Niekoho iného,
Let's
okej,
see.
dobra.
What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
No čo nám pustíš? Oh, Minecraft!
Well, Stanley, is this any better?
Oh.
At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had
Ne,
absolutely nothing to do
nemôžem
with.
nič robiť.
But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever
Ale to je
be enough?
Minecraft? Oh my
Well, I'll
god.
say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house.
Oh my god, OG third house.
Here, no, here, and then...
Byla to hrozně, to je divné.
Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course, and just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
Ten zvuk. No, nevarím, ale... Nejdu čo nerobiť, čiže... Ježiš, sorry, pardon.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Nice, díky. No, ideme... OK, môžeme ísť. Diamantiky. Neviem. Mohli by ste zobraziť, aj keď... Jo, počkaj, ale ja to nemám asi nastavené, čo? Ja už neviem ísť hore. Ideme dole.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light? Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Počkaj. Keď ma to naloaduje, ja to na chvíľku stopnul, potrebujem si ešte rýchle čeknúť. Lebo mám som nastavený akože upozornenie aj na odber, ale asi to nejde. Dokedy bude stream? Do 12 asi ešte tak chvíľku, po hodinku.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it.
Dobre, sekundu mi daj. Neviem sa na to povedať, prečo ja som to mal nastavené. Hej. Poznáš to? Stream, chcem elements, ale to mám donate spravené. Ja keby si chcel tak vykričiť donate, mám donate. Takže, no nič hovoriť, ale mohli by sme to odskúšať rovno, ale neviem, či fungujú. Takže počkaj, rovno to môžem odskúšať, či fungujú. A povedz mi, či ich počuješ, keď tiež je tú sekundu. Lebo, no tu mám históriu. Neviem, to bol toto. Toto som bol ja. Skúsme toto prehrať znovu. Počkať. No toto skúsme. Ja som toto, skúsme to dať znovu, čo bude fungovať. Poď, funguješ? Funguje to. No ako, je to potichu? Počul si to? Alebo ne. Bolo to počuť? Neviem. Počujem. A je to rozpočuť, alebo to je extrémne potichučku? Toto funguje, ale ja som mal ešte druhý. Totiž to ja som mal... Veľmi dobre to počuť? Dobre, super, ďakujem. S tým, že ešte musím pozrieť na to, pretože... Nebolo dosť možné, ja som mal toto, áno, ale ja som tento asi nedal nikam, že? Dobre, daj mi sekundu, hľadám. Dosť hlasné, akurát. Perfektné, to som presne potreboval, ďakujem. Lebo ja to počujem ináč v dôchodkách než vy, čož to som presne potreboval. Dobre, alertbox, toto som potreboval na subscriber. Toto, dobre. Name, dobre. Vieš čo, keď si schopný, alebo ochotný mi pomôcť, prosím ťa, skús dať unsubscribe, no proste unsubscribe, a ja ešte skúsim toto sem rýchlo dať a uvidíme, či bude fungovať aj subscriber alert, lebo aj tento mám. Dobre. Dobre, toto som mal to zapnúť. Activation delay dáme maličký. Nie, toto počít zavrel. Ale dobre. Vyzerá, že to dobre, to je jedno proste, je to nejako. Teraz potrebujeme preview. Open a new tab. Čakajte. Dobre, ale teraz potrebujeme savenúť to, toto skopírovať. No a ja by mám teraz tento browser zozrieť na hento. Dobre. Ja hneď sa venujem, hneď idem ďalej hrať. Toto, new. Dobre, takto. To sem dáme. Dobre. 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 Vyzerá, že by to mohlo fungovať. Ja to dám teda... tak, ako to je tam, niekde takto. Tak, malo by to fungovať, že neviem, skúsať odber, keď si tu. A dúfam, že to bude fungovať s tým, že toto som uložil. Dobre. Dobre. Mohlo by to fungovať. Uvidíme. No a počkaj, aby som to riskoval aj prehrať znovu, neviem. Skúsim to prehrať. Alebo skúsiť až ten odber. Skúskať tak. Neviem, či si ešte stále tu.
Trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Bolo také easy, okej. Neviem, možno, že to nepôjde.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius.
Tam poď. Až to nájde. Ja to skúsim prehrať znovu z toho záznamu. Počkajte sekundu, zase som hneď späť. Ja to presne prehnal, lebo je dosť možné, že tu je ten activity feed, že to budem vidieť. A... nevidím to tu. Dobre, skúsim prehrať to, ale niekto iný odber. Či to... Dobre, funguje to, iba že to potrebujem posunúť 100%.
Dalibor Sendrej dal odber, ďakujem.
Aha, dobre, toto je úplne divné, takže už viem. Dobre, ale toto... Dobre, skúsim to ešte raz. Toto chceme... Poď. To je takto divné, neviem prečo.
Dalibor Sendrej dal odber, ďakujem.
Ja počkaj, ja som zlý úplne. Som trúba. Sekundu. Toto potrebujeme, dobre. Tak ja budem hneď... Dobre, skúsim to teraz. Teraz tam není vôbec vieť.
Dalibor Sendrej dal odber, ďakujem.
Čo mu je zas? Ešte raz daj. No, dobre, teraz už to vyzerá lepšie.
Dalibor Sendrej dal odber, ďakujem. Dalibor Sendrej dal odber, ďakujem.
Ukáž. Teraz. Nie je to...
Dalibor Sendrej dal odber, ďakujem. Dalibor Sendrej dal odber, ďakujem.
Kedy bude ďalší, ja neviem. Kedy bude ďalší stream, neviem. To väčšinou mám tak podľa... To prečo ešte má.
Dalibor Sendrej dal odber, Dalibor Sendrej dal odber, ďakujem.
Neviem. Prosím, bude to lepšie. No, teraz. Tak.
Dalibor Sendrej dal odber, ďakujem.
Ale posledne to ešte milimeter, že keby náhodou presne kvôli tomu, že aby tam ten text bol celý vidieť. No, dobre teraz. Tak.
Dalibor Sendrej dal odber,
Akože,
ďakujem.
však daj si zvonček a to ti hneď dá upozornenie, iba že ide o to, že neviem kedy. Čiže toto mám tiež proste, že náhodne, proste kedy sa mi podarí začať stream, chápeš? Niekedy proste, však som už dlho nič nevydal. Teraz, no počkaj, čo sa mi zanačítáva.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games. And I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough.
Nekam ideme. Však uvidím. Uvidím kde, kedy, ako sa mi podarí zase začať stream. Čiže väčšinou to je o náhode, kedy mám čas. Napríklad aj teraz by som mal už pomaly končil, poviem na 12 preč von. Áno, svetlo, to je dobré, takže neviem. To je proste u mňa o náhode. Ale dáš si zvonček, odber, pozrieš nejaké videjko a dostaneš oznámenia. Takže to bude dobré. Čo mám robiť teda? Neviem, že si vôbec niečo...
I wonder what he found.
Oh, okay.
If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
No tak ja neviem, tak mám asi počkať. Dobre. Pohode, ideme ďalej. Ako už budem končiť, ne? Dobre. Dobre, vieš čo? Poslednú vec, poďme do tých červených dverí.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Rush.
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
A viem, že tam ešte ďalších pár možností, aj zdvihnúť ten telefón, to sme neurobili.
Stanley was so bad at following directions,
Zdvihneme ten telefón, alebo ideme na červené dvere. Ja mám pocit, že asi tie červené dvere budú dlhšie, čiže poďme zdvihnúť telefón.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Odpal som ho, ideme teraz pick-upom. Oh.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on.
Ale to
Did you actually think
najvtipné.
you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Okay.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Nie, employee for presti, ale taký... Aha, nie, nerobím, to neurobím. Dobre.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Bože.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Čo mám robiť?
Now he's
Potom by
pushing
si
a
nepovedal.
button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Štyrku na klavesi, takto najte, potom takto štyrku.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Ako sa voláš? Sorry, nepoviem.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another
Yellow
was a
line,
game
ja to
with a
som
baby.
úplne zabudol.
And he called it
To ešte
the
to tam dá nejako
Stanley
získať.
Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets. The more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Dobre, povedal, že to nemám robiť. Už pôjdem, čakám. Bože, to budeš trvať. Ja, prečo aj tie hodiny? Wait, what? To ešte aj natrebovať na tú animáciu. Ok, what the fuck? Že ja to nemusím presnúť. Ale dobre, nech to rýchlo skončí.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. And
Please
Stanley
die.
pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Ok, niečo som stlačil. Ale pochybím, že som to bol asi ja. To bol Palman. Ok, začali sme znova, super. Takže, myslím, že ja sa s vami teraz lučím. Asi končím stream.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Áno.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Končím a idem toto. Idem to videjko asi nejako potom spracovať. Neviem. Takže ja si sa ideme u ďalšieho videjka, ideme na menu. Máme credits a ja chcem, nemám tu achievementy, ne, to sú len credits. Dobre, počkaj, ok, ja sa teraz všimol, pozri sa. Ja pozerám sa na to, ako hraje, niekto hraje. To si nevšimol vôbec. Dobre, takže dokončili sme. Čaute, končím stream. Dovidenia.